Some of the questions that get asked a lot when it comes to relationships is how do we know what we're experiencing is love and not just, for example, only sexual desires? Or people are sometimes struggling with ideas such as is it better to have friendships with our partner or to have love? But what is the definition of love or what is the definition of friendship? Or people like to know how they can develop a common language so that they can tell their partner what their needs and desires are. So, could there be a common language that people can develop so that they can sit down and talk about the weaknesses and the strengths of the relationship? As much as you need to talk about the weaknesses, so that you can improve, you also need to talk about the strength of your relationship because you need to know why you're in this relationship in the first place. I'm Dr. Huda Tului. I'm a pre-licensed therapist and I work with Paula E. Bruce, PhD and Associates in Beverly Hills. I want to tell you about a very useful theory of love. It is called the Sternberg's triangular model of love. As the name implies, there's a triangle, meaning that there are three components. The three components are passion, intimacy, and commitment. The first component is passion. Passion is the excitement in the relationship. That's the fire. Passion is what draws you to engage in passionate lovemaking. Maybe instead of saying Romeo saw Juliet and they fell in love, we need to say Romeo saw Juliet and they felt a lot of passion. Or instead of love at first sight, we can say passion at first sight. The second component is intimacy. While passion happens right away when you meet someone, intimacy needs time. You need to spend time with someone to learn more about them, to find out about your common interests, build those memories, going on those trips, going on those dates. Intimacy is about developing that deep bond, that deep friendship. When the times get hard, when you have a big argument, when something really intense happens in your relationship, it is intimacy that helps you to get through those times. The third component is commitment. Commitment is how much you're willing to commit your resources to the relationship and be present. Your resources are your time, your money, your emotions, how much you can be open emotionally. Commitment is about being able to agree on the terms and conditions of your relationship. You might have a long-term polyamorous relationship or you might agree on having a short-term monogamous relationship. Commitment is to be able to agree on the terms and conditions of your relationship and stick to that agreement. By sticking to that agreement, we don't mean that you cannot renegotiate it later. You can always renegotiate it. But it's an agreement that the two of you or everybody involved reaches. Now, if you have a fair amount of all these three components, Sternberg says you have a complete love, a consummate love. If you only have passion, it's an infatuated love. If you have only intimacy, it's a friendship. If you have only commitment, it's an empty love. If you want to sit down and talk about your relationship, remember, you don't want to judge yourself. You want to understand so that you can develop the areas that need to be developed, and then you want this discussion to bring you two closer to each other, not make you drift apart. Sometimes you talk about your relationship, you realize that you have a lot of intimacy and you're happy with it. Then you just leave it at that. Sometimes you talk about your relationship, you realize that you have a lot of passion, which is so important. Having passion is so important. Remember, that's the excitement. But then you think, okay, we want to add intimacy and commitment to our relationship too. This is how knowing this theory, this model, will help you to develop your relationship, to get to the next level. All these three components don't happen on their own, not even passion. Each one needs a lot of work, consistency, and persistency. You need to work on your physical appearance because you want to look good for your partner. But you also want to get to know yourself better. You want to work on your personality. You want to get to know your desires. You want to get to know your needs, your fears. And once you start getting to know yourself, you want to learn how to make compromises. You want to learn how you can prioritize your needs so that you can reach a compromise with your partner in a way that the relationship is enjoyable for both of you or everyone else involved. Enjoying the different parts of your life, including your love life, your relationship, is an ongoing process.